has affected quite a lot, I would say, because as sports marketing agencies, we support the different right holders within the industry, which are media platforms, fans, right holders and brands. And they all have been affected due to COVID-19. And therefore, we need just to try to find solutions to improve the current relationships and also the current activities to reduce as much as we can the dangerous and mobilized effects of the COVID-19. It is very early to say that, because it's only 4 or 5 months since the outbreak of COVID started. So big agents, such agency I work for, I mean, we are over 1,500 people working in the agency, so it's not that easy just to adapt or quickly adapt to changes. But I have to say that digital has become a major part in the trends or development of the future of the industry, because in the event of games or other events at closed doors, it means that fans still need to have content. Also, clubs need the fans to be engaged with right holders, and also brands, they need to have their association with the right holders during these closed doors or not sports going on the planet. And therefore, digital content and digital platforms appear as the best solution in order to get all these players in the industry connected. Yeah, for main clubs, I would say, because not all clubs go to Asia or go to US markets, because local supporters, they're looking for premium matches, premium events, and because they don't have maybe at their countries the best quality of competitions, and as far as we know, but that's mainly in Asia, fans support very much players, not just clubs, and therefore what they need is to have the experience and, as we usually said in the industry, and touch the people, because that is experience for them. And therefore, they pay, or they are willing to pay good money, both the fans, brands, media, and also the promoters or local institutions to bet to bring these top clubs to play in those countries. For the clubs themselves, there are 2 main objectives in order to go to these markets. One, which is very clear, which is another interesting source of revenues during pre-season, because as I said, both in the US or Asia, particularly in China, promoters, sponsors, fans are willing to pay higher fees or higher money to come and watch these events rather than in Europe, because Europe they play during 19 months. It's a more mature and saturated market, and during summer, fans are more willing going into holidays, going into other areas and have a break for football. That is the main objectives. And the second is for marketing purposes. I mean, clubs need to grow their international appeal. They need to reach fans over the world, and that not only consists of having their games shown on local broadcasters during the season, but fans have an appetite and ask for the clubs just to be present in those markets to increase fan engagement, as well as the relationship or interaction between fans and the clubs. Europe, still the clubs are having games in Europe. I mean, usually pre-season consists of two parts. There is one part which is the summer tours, which that is very much driven by the commercial department within the clubs, with the focus of, as I said, brand awareness, positioning, and revenue streams. And there is a second part of pre-season, which is more the sporting season, which is basically the preparation of physical, tactical, technical, also teamwork, because they have new players, which is led by the sporting division, and they usually prefer to stay in Europe rather than going into these markets, because the hassle of the trips, because the pitches and conditions are not that ideal for start the preparation. And instead of going on these international tours, they go into Europe, where they going on summer camps in some markets or some countries which the weather is mild, when they have superb training facilities, and they have other clubs at same level of preparation also looking for games. First of all, they have a very clear strategy that it was drafted and revised and I would say canalized by President Tebas, which they were from the beginning. They have a clear understanding of future of the sports industry, and they thought that Spanish market was a bit saturated, a bit mature, and they needed just to go outside to increase the reach of La Liga elsewhere in the world. So therefore they set up an international strategy based on, first, increase the value and the reach of broadcasting of La Liga matches worldwide, but also that was aligned with two additional pillars within the strategy. The second one was just to set up a network of offices, which there were, let's say, temporary offices, but they put different members of La Liga in the houses of the broadcasters, of the main broadcasters partners of La Liga worldwide, which that gives La Liga an understanding or improvement of the relationship with the domestic partners, but at the same time to understand more about the business models, about what fans were asking for in order to improve the content given to the broadcaster in each market. And the third one, which is very linked to what football clubs does, is we need not only just to approach fans on digital, on media platforms, but also we need to have a more presence in those markets physically. And the best way to do it is just to bring to those markets our product, our premium assets, which are the football clubs, the players, and competitive games. For sure, that something is one of the main changes I would say COVID-19 has brought to the industry. It's true that some sectors which traditional relevant investment in sports sponsorship are struggling or are fighting against economic crisis. But those sectors eventually they are mainstream. They go to consumers, usually male consumer, and therefore sports and football still would be one of their assets or one of their premier properties to put the money on. So that's gonna continue happening. It's gonna stop, maybe get reduced for a few years, but it will go back stronger, because in the end they need to capture this target market, which is massive and is very much male principally. Betting is gonna disappear eventually, the same as in the past. Tobacco or alcohol or other nightclubs or other things were banned on advertising. I think betting is on the track as well, and maybe not ban 100%, but the new law will be much more restrictive and just put much more limitations on advertising betting in the sports industry. So that's going to happen, and therefore the income from clubs from betting companies will decrease in the coming years for sure. But there are opportunities of new sectors which they're growing after COVID-19, and they are also showing interest in sports sponsorship, and therefore we can balance from traditional sectors to newcomers. So yeah, I mean, sponsorship is key. Also, clubs need to understand how sponsorship is evolving, because in the past sponsorship was very linked to brand presence, but now sponsorship is something else. It's not only brand presence, so get the logo print on shirts or on advertising boards on someone else, but now sponsors or brands are very much driven on income, on success. So therefore clubs need to understand, or right holders need to understand what the strategy is behind the brand, in order just to build up projects or products together to engage with fans and at the same time with clients. And digital is important, but also creative new concepts which will drive sales and revenues to the brands. Well, technology is been already in sports industry in the recent years. I mean, it's very important technology linked to data collections for once, concept of big data. Also technology linked to artificial intelligence as well, in order to understand better the consumer, in order just to their campaigns or marketing campaigns are much more addressed to them, in order to have more success in terms of the selling or consuming process. Also technology in terms of the new ways of broadcasting events or on any other sports activities are taking much more role in here, in terms of artificial intelligence. But we talk about all the different technologies that apply on broadcasting, which increase the engagement from fans with the sports. Also, the eSports business comes from technology, and is becoming an important trend in the sports industry, and is dragging a big chunk of fans, young fans, onto this discipline. So technology also on stadiums, in terms of security, in terms of health, also in terms of describing what is the fan journey from home till get to the stadiums and they live. So all technology is becoming part of our lives, also mainly in how we in the future consume the sports, and therefore is a must for most organizations just to take to take into account this and use this in order to improve the value of their sports. So we need to have these people on board to better understand what new generations want to consume, what are their priorities, and how from the industry we create or adapt that product, that content to fit their needs and requirements.